They say all men are created equal.
Shot! Master!
I pull out the Glock.
Full of suffering succotash, son.
One of your nuts is hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Too Sweet podcast with Lucy and Estelle. It's a Wednesday, and so it's a bit different to usual. We're recording for Title Tuesday, our review, which was a special edition of Dynamite that AEW has put on this week instead of on the usual Wednesday. So, this was a 2.5 hour special event, and it was a pretty stacked card. So we're gonna, as usual, go through it and let you know our thoughts. So, Estelle, initial reactions, what did you think overall of Title Tuesday?
Title Tuesday. The name Title Tuesday. I can't. Have we had a Title Tuesday in the past? Because we used to get that shitty Battle of the Belts. So I thought, but going into it, because I always have to do my going into it perceptions, right? I thought Title Tuesday, man, it's just lame. Like, I'm not actually really love the show, okay? Because I don't want people to get rage baited already. Like, please listen to my full thoughts before you get annoyed at me. But I thought, like, going in, it's going to be like Battle of the Belts, where there's a few belts on the line and no one wins a belt, which I just feel like if something's going to be called Title Tuesday and there's going to be a few more Battle of the Belts and nothing consequential happens on them, that's kind of lame. But even though, like, no belts were exchanged, I do think that was the right decision because we got a lot of momentum out of all the matches in that it then built to booking more matches on the Wrestle Dream card. And yeah, so this was on a Tuesday, as you said. We've also got the 3-hour special next week with Collision.
Really? Oh, shit, yeah, because they put an advert on for this.
On the end.
Yeah, I was like, oh, fab. I'm being sarcastic just because watching it after work, I'm just like, come on.
It's rough.
Speed this up, guys. Come on. And it's like 3 hours. I don't want to complain about having to watch wrestling.
It's different on a weekend. It's different on a weekend. Watching after work is like your brain is just not as switched on. And they're like 3 hours in the past, like the Collision hour has always kind of not been booked as well. But then I don't feel like we'll have that issue next week because there is some interesting. Oh no, that's for this Collision, isn't it? On this Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got another Collision. So actually, but anyway, in the past, that hour is felt like Dynamite ended, and then it's almost more like an AEW Dark. Like,
yeah, well, I mean,
it always feels like even more of a downgrade than Collision on a Saturday, which is usually pretty good. But when they do the 3-hour specials and they incorporate in, it feels like it. I don't know.
It's like a really stark comparison.
Yeah,
when they do it like that. But maybe they'll do it different this time around, or maybe it'll work a bit better. But yeah, Title Tuesday's been an annual thing, every sort of around this time of year. So yeah,
obviously,
I think
an event that we have no idea.
Yeah, just one of those TV specials. But I think overall this show worked really well. There was a lot of unique wrestling going on, I felt like, and also with Orange Cassidy and Pac in the main event, and also it being at Daly's place felt, again, like we said last week, quite nostalgic and a bit of a nod to the past of AEW, which was nice.
I love this show. I thought it shouldn't be called Title Tuesday, it should be called Bread and Butter, because every match and every segment was just AEW's bread and butter from the past and current, and it was just absolutely fantastic. And I think it really goes to show, like, yeah, we're missing big stars, but holy shit, like, I didn't miss any of them. Obviously I missed them, but like, I didn't miss any of them during the show. I had a blast.
Yeah, you don't sit there thinking, oh, I wish Swerve was coming up. You do not sit there thinking anything stacked. Like that. Yeah,
it's too stacked, and it moved really fast this show. There was always something coming. There wasn't.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I don't think there was like any. We had the face-to-face at the start, but there wasn't any like much talking segments in ring, at least anyway. It was a lot of action, a lot of wrestling, a lot of building for the pay-per-view, and Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I wonder when we get to the ratings whether it's going to be like controversial, like what I wondered whether like you'd agree with me because I definitely want to rank it quite high.
Yeah, I
But I guess
think
we get there.
I haven't really, to be honest, I haven't really done a lot of reflection on it as a whole yet. So it'll be interesting, like when we start to break it down and go through it match by match, that'll be when I land on it on a rating. I think at this point I've got a very much open mind. So if you talk all these up, I'll probably be right up there with you.
Yep. So the start with we had Shivani just in your grill. Freaking camera was up in that man's face, and it was like we're doing a face to face, but it was quite exciting. It was just quite exciting. It was like we're bringing him out, and it was Hangman and Joe. Uh, it was very simplistic, this, but it's a very simplistic feud, and it is filler. But at the same time, you're not mad at it. You're like, yeah, this makes sense. This is nice. I like these two guys. I like Joe taking himself seriously and stepping away from
Very
being
much.
Hook's dad for a second. And I'm glad to see him go for the title. And yeah, it was just pretty simple. Like Hangman was laying out the facts. This is what happened. Boom, boom, boom. You lost your temper. I've got respect for your work against the Death Riders, and that definitely contributed towards me winning. But at the end of the day, like the payback of gratitude that I have for that has come to an end, and now I just see you as my opponent. And Joe's like, yeah, exactly. You couldn't do it without us. So obviously that's been some building resentment, seeing Hangman get his flowers, I suppose, while Joe hasn't been given a title shot. Or I know you you know extended his thanks and his gratitude, but Joe's got an ego, and he's got an ego for a reason because he's a star. He's a big deal,
Mhm.
and yeah, I liked how he was like, I forgot that, and I forgot who I was for a moment, but I've got my priorities straight. It's very believable, and that's it. It's that simple. It is that simple, but it makes sense. And when someone has a long title reign, which you imagine my theory currently, even though a lot of my theories aren't coming true. Like I had that big swerve and Hangman fantasy booking theory, and that didn't come through. My Tony Storm theory didn't come through with her title reign and fantasy booking for that. But my theory at the moment is that Osprey will come back healthy sometime next year, and he will beat Hanger at Wembley for the title. But that's a long way away, right? So
Yeah.
if there's a long title reign, there's got to be ebbs and flows. And I'm not saying that this is a negative ebb. It's just sometimes the tide has to recede back, and sometimes it has to push right in. I think I said that the wrong way around, but you know what I'm saying. You know the
I know
gist.
what you mean. We know what you mean. Yeah. No, I totally agree with everything that you said about this feud. I think that I loved how Joe was very calm during this segment, whereas Hangman was his emotions were building, he was getting more intense and more angry. But Joe throughout the whole thing was very stoic and very calm. Um, I thought, and I agree with what you're saying about like the title reign. I guess we can sort of settle in the knowledge that Joe is not going to beat Hangman, although usually when you say something surely like that, it ends up being wrong. But I don't think Samoa Joe's going to defeat Hangman. That doesn't mean that it's a bad feud or a bad moment of Hangman's title reign. I think the whole story is worked out um really well, and this segment, as simple as it was, like you said, has really helped to build for the match next week. And I love the little detail that Hangman's never beaten Joe one on one, which adds a little bit of extra spice into this. Um, yeah, and Hangman got the first and last word, and again, it's just Joe. Joe was so chill. That's even more like he doesn't have to be angry and getting violent. That's even more chilling, really, if he's calm and got his head together over the whole thing. So yeah, I thought this really worked. I thought it was a nice way to open the show and quite a bit of a different pace maybe than usual. Sometimes, we start off all guns blazing. Sometimes we start off with a segment like this, and I like the way this worked out.
Yeah, because the presentation of it as well wasn't generic, or it was very good at building up the excitement, because it wasn't like Hangman came out and then Joe interrupted him. It
Hmm.
was a sit down, not sit down, but it was like a one-on-one interview thing conducted by Tony Schiavone, but then just the way it was presented made it feel like we're like, oh my God, we're doing this. Whoa, it feels like a big deal. Am I absolutely chomping at the bit? Like, oh my God, I can't wait for the main event. No, but it is like you say, like well, I think you were referring to just the start of Dynamite and like the dynamic kind of openings and how you don't know what you're going to get. But I also think it's just a refreshing change of tone, and it means that whatever the next feud is going to have more impact. And that's not to
Yeah.
discredit this feud. It just means that, if MJF came back and was like popping off, like that's going to hit harder. And also, I'm really intrigued to see where Joe goes after this, because yes, he's going to lose, but I'm like, is something going to cost him? Are we going to have a heel turn? Are they going to present it in the way of Hangman's never beat Samoa Joe? So is it going to be like a handshake showing of respect? So I think that's where the intrigue is for me. Well, there's two parts of the intrigue, right? One, the match, the physical match itself will be very good, so I'm excited to see that. But the second part is I'm excited to see how they kind of package it, because I feel like they will have to do something at the end. I'm not saying like something super shocking, but I do feel like there will be some moment of catharsis, be it a heel turn, be it somebody's involvement costing Joe the title,
Yeah.
trying to fuck up Hangman, be it just like a simple handshake and showing of respect and a
Yeah, I
feel
think
good ending to Wrestle Dream. But I just know there will be some kind of moment like that, and I'm interested to see how they do it.
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It could I think what you said about handshakes seems the most like logical and also impactful for me, like of all the things that you said. But I think it's interesting that yeah, there's a lot of potential direction they could take it. It does feel like there's a purpose in this and um an end goal in mind, or like a middle term sort of plan. Um so yeah, and I feel like there was something else I was going to say about this, but I can't remember, so it can't have been that important. So let's just move along.
So moving along to the conglomeration, which was just Matt Briscoe's
Hilarious.
weekly talking segment of hyping up everyone's respective matches uh, that night and also that week, with with Willow also wrestling on Saturday with FTR, well, against FTR with Jet Speed. But yeah, it was very funny. This like the Kyle on Kyle bit started here, and then I hate Kyle and Roddy's Kyle. Even though they're a bit of like a tired act, it was quite funny. It was a good pop, and yeah, it's just a feel good. It's the bread and butter, right? Like the Mark Briscoe talkie talk, hyping you up after you've just seen this great face to face with Joe and Hangman. It's like you've had the bread. Matt Briscoe's the butter. Let's make this sandwich, baby.
100%. And what did he call Jet Speed? Like conglomeration adjacent civilian warriors or something.
Yeah.
Brilliant, hilarious, love it. Um, I was kind of hoping for an Estelle Mac Briscoe impression, I'm not gonna lie.
Only bring those out for special occasion.
Damn.
Uh, that would be a great segment for our, well, either our 1,000 episode, well, not 1,000 subscriber special, or the Christmas wrap up, which I'm already starting to think about, because
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun filming that last year, and we did a lot of fun segments in that. But
that was really
maybe we
funny.
could prepare some wrestler impressions
Oh my God.
for the subs. I'm sure they would appreciate that.
The humiliation ritual, the things we do for you people. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I don't know what's gonna come first, like our 100th
thousands of
episode,
subscribers.
1,000 subs, or Christmas, because we are approaching Christmas really fast. So three big things coming up. And do let us know if there's anything you want to see in those things. But anyway, let's.
I still haven't done my fan fiction reading either.
Oh my God, yes, yes, forgot about
We have
that.
so much stuff. And we haven't done a Q&A in ages either.
No, we haven't.
So definitely lots of things. So the next match was fucking awesome. I want to say it was my match of the night. I also really enjoyed Kyle O'Reilly versus Kyle Fletcher. I think those two
Yeah.
were my matches of the night. But Mox versus Ishii was just incredible. I thought it was absolutely incredible. Like I knew it was going to be fun. And again, bread and butter. It makes sense. It works. It's great. Like you know you're in for a good time when you see these two in the ring, especially together. But I thought this did a really good job of making Moxley look really dangerous.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, going into Wrestle Dream and his match against Darby, and his whole thing is trying to get Darby to quit, and so like this crazed mentality that he has. And I thought this match did a really good job of doing that because it wasn't him just beating up a jobber and looking strong, it was him beating up Ishii, who made him dig deeper, which
Yeah.
meant that when Mox did get his number in this match, like it was more impactful. And then
Yeah.
the blood that we got and the violence and just the style of match that this was, I just thought it was really effective at doing that.
Yeah, 100%. It was like Ishii was this very, I want to say like, it's kind of putting it really lightly, but like valid contender against Moxley. You felt like they were evenly matched, and it started off like a slow pace sort of brawling style, and then it gradually picked up in pace and intensity, and then they were matching each other's freak with like in terms of violence and things, and then with that the crowd started to get really into it as well, and it was just like, yeah, like evenly matched, and you just never felt it was one-sided. It was had a just this sense that they were fighting, a very real feeling to it. I think I would describe it as. Um, yeah, it
It
was
was real
just
to me.
so fun.
So
Very
fun.
quality wrestling match.
Yeah. So, like, they squared up, like you said, slow start, Ishii taking the ground. We had Marina sniping from the side. When he got colour and his nose got busted, that looked sick.
Yeah.
And the
That was
I
Ishii, by the
loved
way, for all you people who always say things like Moxley always bleeds. He didn't bleed in this match. It was his opponent. Sorry,
my
that's just a bit of criticism that really pisses me off that people give John Moxley. Sorry, continue.
I think it's just a rib.
Yeah, I don't know though.
But
I
maybe
don't know.
80% of people it's a rib.
I feel like
For 20% of people it's
yeah,
probably a criticism.
but some people also sort of say it as a joke, but it's wrapped in cynicism and a bit of actual criticism. So that's all I'm saying.
So my favorite spot, also potentially of the night, of which there was a lot of great spots uh, on Title Tuesday, but Mox stalling the pile driver, which was already great because like the
Yeah.
fucking size of EC dude. But then the fact that he like had the middle finger while he was doing it was just fucking great. I
It
really loved
was.
that.
It was amazing, but then Ishii did the whole fighting spirit thing and didn't even sell it.
Which
It was
made
just
me love it more.
great back up. Yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And then Mox followed it up straight away with a curb stomp. That's for all my Anne Brolins girlies out there. And then he kicked out to absolutely huge response from the crowd. It was a really cool sequence.
What I was thinking though, because the match ended with the Bulldog choke. And so I was thinking, do you think that's how the match is going to end at Wrestle Dream? Because then Darby's not actually saying I quit. But obviously you will have the ref will count it as quitting if you pass out, right? So
I
and
don't
then
know
and then
though, because
and then Darby can be like, oh well, I didn't say I quit. You
well,
made
this
me
is the
pass out.
thing. Some because I think it depends how they play it. Because I remember in some I Quit matches in the past, can't remember if it was AEW or somewhere else. Someone's passed out and they've made a whole big thing of, well, he's passed out. He can't say I quit if he's passed out. So the match isn't technically over. So maybe they'll go down that route, and Mox will be like, oh shit, I fucked up. He can't say I quit when he's asleep. But you could be right also. I do think that being one of Moxley's like go-to things to end a match will certainly play into it.
I'm really enjoying Mox at the moment, and I'm not like with the same fatigue. I mean, the Death Riders as a whole, I still think are quite lame, but I'm not feeling the same level of fatigue as I felt when he just lost his title and I was like, right, you need to go on holiday. But I
Yeah.
do still think it would be great if they do just let Darby get the win and
Yeah.
Mox says I quit and he actually quits and has a bit of a break and heals up and just spends some time. But at the same time, like I'm not clamoring for him to go away in the same way that I was because I'm really enjoying his character. And I think that's because we talked about in the past this crazed character and his wrestling style is just it is really enjoyable, but it's not for me something that I want to see as my main event on a pay-per-view every month. And that's not to discredit his wrestling
Yeah,
style, but
that's fair.
it's just not what I want to see. But since like he's taken that step down, it's like I've remembered how great he is through him not
Oh,
being champion,
100%.
which is so weird.
Yeah, well, I think there's definitely something to say about overexposure to people, isn't there? But also, as well, I think he's more intriguing when he is a little bit vulnerable. And I think the second that he tapped out to Hangman made him so much more intriguing as a character. And you can tap into that, I think, with the Darby Allin match, especially with the stipulation of I quit, because that is inherently like a vulnerable thing to do. And obviously, that's why they've gone down this route, because it's two men who you'd never envision saying that they quit. So I'm a bit. I'm always skeptical about these types of matches because sometimes they end in a really corny way, like, oh no, please don't hit my wife. I quit, don't do it. Or, something stupid like that. But I don't envision them doing that, especially given the way Dynamite this week ended. Um, but yeah, I think the Death Riders is a lot more spicy when Mox is like a flawed leader and he's failing in some senses, and there's a bit of dissension within the group. It's a lot more interesting, and I'm just intrigued how this match is going to go.
Yeah, it's like MJF-esque in it because it's not like he's getting vulnerable and then he's getting all up in his feels. He's getting vulnerable and then that's making him double down more,
Yeah.
which is I think where the intrigue is. Then we had again bread and butter, the Bucks backstage,
Being iconic.
desperate for a cash match, banging on Tony Khan's door. Matt sold some sneakers to be ringside for the Jurassic Express match, and yeah, just your weekly dopamine or rage bit of the Young Bucks, however you choose to take that. Then we had a cool video package of Tony and all of her wins, her W's over the year, and how
Oh, I really love this.
stats stack up against her because Stat Daddy is very legit. I couldn't believe when I saw on Reddit and it was someone had posted her win record and it's like one of the highest, if not the highest in AEW's women's
Yes,
division.
they said that in the package. She's apparently got the most wins in the women's division, and that's with like
Wild.
a long time off as well with injury too. I thought this
She
was
doesn't feel like she
great.
has.
No, I
Like
know,
she doesn't
right?
feel like she has. Like she's like the opposite of Matt Briscoe where she's winning all the time, but like I don't feel like she has, but obviously that's just
Yeah.
because of like the way they've presented her. But it just goes to show you like how much she deserves this and how much her record backs that up, and I just don't think you can argue with her getting her flowers and having a moment to lead the women's division.
100%. And this video package really sold this for me. I mean, I didn't dislike the feud, but this really, I love stats and facts. That's my favorite thing to be dropping on commentary. So anything like this really excites me. The fact that they've never even wrestled one on one, they said, I was like, what? That's crazy. Um, if Tony wins, she'd be the first ever member of the AEW five-time champion club. She'd be the first ever five-time champ in AEW. And yeah, the thing about Chris being apparently like, got the most amount of wins in the women's division, it was just blowing my mind. I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm into this now. This feels like it has huge stakes suddenly. Not, and like I said, I wasn't down on it, but I'm very up on it now. It just feels like it has high ramifications. Um, but I am gonna complain, and I'll tell you
Oh
why.
wow.
Why was there only one women's match on this whole card? 2.5 hours, and we could only squeeze in one women's match. Like, could we not have had something with Chris and Tony after this? Anything, an interview. And I know they had their segment on Collision, but which is fine. Maybe you
Which was
didn't.
very good.
Yeah, which you didn't
Very, very
maybe
good.
want them doing another talky talk thing on the
Oh.
Dynamite after it. Get that. But what could we not have had a little something here? I don't know. That's it.
Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna fucking bring in tag belts, and it's like, this is
Yeah.
why we're skeptical of it. This is why we don't trust
It should.
you.
How could we not have had a women's tag match on this? Just to be like, oh well,
Yeah, to hype it up
this.
more, to be like, oh, these people are desperate and they're trying to get a head start and trying to, amp themselves up for this tournament and shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
why the fuck couldn't they? I don't know, but I'm very excited for this match because I think it's going to be really jarring because seeing Tony Storm, I mean, I personally think she's going to lose. So seeing her
Mm.
lose again to Chris Statlander, I think will be
Quite
will
surreal.
will be quite surreal and quite jarring. And I feel like it's really going to suck you in because I feel like you are just going to feel as though either one of them could pick up the victory. I could definitely see a lot of near falls and
Yeah.
desperation and on both sides. I think it might be the the match of the night. I think
Yeah, it could be a
the I
sleeper.
Quit match has potential too, but I like when there's potential for two match of the nights, but they're so different. And that's the great part about an AW card is it's always so varied.
100%. That's my favorite thing. I've said it many times. My favorite thing about AEW is something for everyone. There's a little bit of flavor of everything. But yeah, I think you're right. This could be a sleeper for match of the night contender. So I think I think they'll put on a great match. But I also think that with anything that Tony Storm does, there's always a great story element, and I'm excited to see what she'll do with it because I do agree with you. I think she'll probably lose. So how's she going to deal with that?
Absolutely. So then we had the Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate
I know
in
we
a
said this last
fight.
week, but the Demand is the shittest name I've ever heard in my life. Sorry.
Yeah, it's poor.
Just to
It is
reiterate.
poor. It's poor. This was just really fun. It was absolute carnage. It was just an all-out fight to the death. It was a
Yeah.
street fight. It wasn't staged. It wasn't. There was a lot of table spots, but they were really cool. So there were tables set up,
Mm,
but it wasn't. Oh, we're gonna walk over here where there's conveniently a weapon set out, and we're gonna
exactly.
conveniently do something. And everyone was fighting at all times. Like it wasn't like one person on the
One
floor
person's
being
asleep
chucked
and
out for half an hour. Yeah, having a lie down. It wasn't like that. And I loved seeing MVP using his cane against the kendo stick at the
yeah,
start.
then having like a sword fight.
I loved how the Hurt Syndicate had barely even like gotten ready for the match, or like I guess Lashley was gonna take off like his shirt, but he never got the chance to. And then I was pissing myself because at the end when they won, MVP like put his blazer back on for him and sort of dusted him down. It was just badass and it was just really comedic.
Yeah, it was totally badass they were fighting in their like in their suits in Yeah, like you said, the button ups and stuff. Um, but yeah, everything that you said is so true. It was like innovative street fight spots, not your usual basic stuff. And like you said, it wasn't forced. Like, oh, you're gonna lie on a table and I'm gonna jump on you. It was you actually were glued to the screen because it was one thing after another, and Ricochet doing what he does best, appearing out of absolutely nowhere, um, and also being a hilarious heel. The dynamics worked really well, and they did do a lot of table spots, but it wasn't like, oh, another table spot. It like you said, it was sort of it was like natural.
Yeah, they were just flying through them. It was non-stop, no breathing room, especially to start with. It felt like there was no rhyme or reason, but in a good way. Like
Yeah.
in a good way. And the arrogance on both sides and the ego clashes was really great to see. And it was a table break that caused the Hurt Syndicate to pick up the victory with the brutal German by Shelton
That
Benjamin
was
to Ricochet.
that was just insane. I've never seen anything like that in my fucking life. It was like a released German into a table that was like a good 2 feet away from them. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like that in my whole life.
Yeah. So pretty good stuff, and they put Ricochet and the Demand in their place. So good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It was big guy stuff mixed in with a little bit of Ricochet's high flying, mixed in with high violence. It was lovely.
Yeah. So then we had the Don Callis family struggling to all get in one shot. Ibushi versus Josh Alexander for Collision, which should be good. Good to see Ibushi uh, back. His last match was pretty good, all things considered. Definitely didn't look as worse for wear as he did in the past. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And Kyle O'Reilly's such a mark for Kyle Fletcher that he named himself after him. Uh, they've got their eyes on the tag titles because, of course, we had Takeshita and Okada going against Bradida for the Double Jeopardy Eliminator match. So just Don Callis chatting mad shit, basically.
Yeah, and it was just funny to see them all in one place. It sort of reminds me of those memes where it's like, oh, when everyone in the squad is completely different, but you all come together. Or also when you get your different friendship groups together at
Your
your birthday.
birthday, yeah, your
Yeah,
birthday party
that
night, your different friendship groups. Yeah, that's hilarious.
them's the vibes that the Don Callis family is giving at the moment. And Don Callis is the friend whose birthday party it is, and they're all they're all there, but none of them really like each other. They just don't fit in. Not the same vibes.
Yeah. So then we had Jurassic Express reuniting properly for the first time in many years in Daly's place, no less. So that's special. Versus Jobbers. So
Yeah.
okay, like I would have preferred if it wasn't Jobbers, but then I guess didn't. I guess for two reasons it does kind of work. Because for the first reason, they get to have all their OP spots and the lazy suplex, the just being OP as fuck with them was fun.
Hmm.
And then the second part is that you get the Young Bucks coming in and they do like the beat down, and that's like the moment that you really want to center and focus on. And if there was
Hmm.
another tag team in there, well, then it would be convoluted, like, oh, they'd want revenge in the future and yada yada. So
Yeah.
I do get it, but it would have been nice to see him go against like a mid tier tag team, or
Yeah.
just even someone that they don't really use that often on Dynamite, like MXM, or I mean, maybe not like someone up and coming like Jet Speed. Like you don't want someone like that to lose to him, but just someone other than Jobbers. But then again, bread
Yeah.
and butter. That is an AEW bread and butter. So I
I mean, I agree with you. I feel like you sort of lose. It's hard, isn't it? Because I was gonna say you lose investment when it's a squash match, but at the same time, it's this big return, and there's a lot of investment anyway. So does it really matter who they're facing? Well, to me, I feel like it does take away from it a little bit. I think that what you said was good. Maybe it's someone who's not, even someone from Ring of Honor or something like not a team you're trying to build like Jet Speed, but yeah, someone like MXM would have been perfect.
Yeah, and like I don't think it massively took away from it, but
Mm,
if you can do something better, why would you not choose to do something better? But then I'm not too mad because I think I would be more pissed off if they just did the squash match and rode off into the sunset because I would have been like, is that all we get? But then the fact that we then had the Young Buck stuff, I think did save it and make up for it,
yeah.
in my opinion.
I do wonder if there's a thing backstage with getting jobbers like, oh, they want to give like someone a chance to get on TV who wouldn't normally. Do you know what I mean? I wonder if that's sort of the culture of it, like, oh, we want to see this team in action with, we're not going to necessarily sign them, but we just want to give them a little bit of a chance and, scout them for future opportunities. Maybe that's the reason why.
Well, it's always been a thing, hasn't it? Like they've
Yeah.
always done it, and especially like the eras that they've modelled their show on. Jobber wrestling was a big thing. Jobber
Mm.
wrestling was kind of novel for me because it really wasn't. It really went away. Well, a bit during the PG era because I guess you get like the comedy jobbers, but WWE kind of monopolized jobbers within its own company. So it had wrestlers that it was paying just to get like beat up, which you don't really get anymore, and you don't. I don't know if you do get that in WWE, but you definitely don't get that in AEW where some like there's lower people down on the card. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like someone's whole job is to just be a laughing stock and to be laughed at. So during like the 2010s when the NXT guys came up and the indie guys came in and New Japan guys came over and they started putting more jobber wrestling on TV to my memory anyway, to my memory how I perceived it to be. And especially with I remember at the time matches like seeing Goldberg for the first time and like
Yeah.
the rapid match that was and these like shock kind of things that came in or came back into style during that era. It was like, oh, this is quite cool because I've not seen this before. I've not grown up on this, but obviously now I don't know. I feel like I've just said a lot of stuff. Then I don't really know how to like tie it off in a neat little bow, which is usually my issue. But you get my point.
Yeah,
I feel
100%.
like I tried to make a few points there. Hopefully you can find the point. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
The
I know
point.
what you mean. They don't in AEW. They don't have people in that role that they hire. They bring in outside people, and well, you could argue that Max Caster was sort of in that role for a little bit, but now he's taken a more serious route by sort of doing his thing with Anthony Bowens again. But you know what I mean. Yeah, I I understand what you were saying there.
But with Max Caster though, I still think that's a bit different because I feel like that character direction is something he wanted to go in and like
Yeah,
that's something he pushed for himself. It's not like someone's enforced that on him.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're gonna do this because it's gonna make me laugh backstage
Mm,
and no one else. And
yeah,
it's
it
better
doesn't
to
feel
get
that way,
over.
does it? I feel like in
Humiliation ritual.
yeah, exactly. It sometimes felt quite bitter and toxic sometimes the way a wrestler would be treated on screen in WWE. Especially, jobbers. I mean, it springs to mind like someone like Bo Dallas or fucking Adam Rose, the Bunny, like think stupid bottom of the barrel shit like that. You don't get shit like that in AEW. Some people
Yeah.
will probably argue that you do. If you really hate AEW, yeah, you probably argue that there's a lot of shit. But there, you know what I mean. It's not that gimmicky or cartoony sort of thing. I don't know. I feel like we're all going into a whole different conversation here, but
Yeah, we're like opening a can of worms on
This is what happens on this podcast. Like it's a squash match. We could move past it so quickly, but we're really dissecting this whole jobber situation. Like, what does this mean? Let's
Oh my God.
analyze this squash match.
Yes, anyway, focusing on. Well, actually, I want to focus on before we get to the books. I liked how Jack Perry kind of retained his character a bit because there's one point where he was trying to take off the turnbuckle. So it was quite subtle, but it was like he's not lost that brutal edge. And I love Danielson's umbrage at the fact that a beach ball was brought into the ring. He was really triggered. It was quite funny.
I remember Claudio used to burst beach balls. I feel like him and Danielson probably bonded over the hate of beach balls.
So, and then he had an adorable zoom in when he picked up the victory as well. It was very
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, very wholesome.
And people do be getting behind him, but I feel very vindicated as a Jack Perry girly because I don't need to switch up on him. Not that I'm anti switching up because I've
I
switched up
can
on a lot of people. I'm very fickle, but I don't have to be fickle about Jack Perry because I've been a Jack Perrier since like
day -1.
day minus one.
I can confirm this. I can confirm this. You got a lot of stick back in the day in the uni society for being a Jungle Boy fan. But you
Yeah.
always stood by him. You've been loyal since.
So did JR, because he called him Jungle Jack Perry.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now
yeah.
that's not what he's going by, Jungle
Yeah,
Jack Perry. So me and JR,
it's a full circle
it's
moment.
right. It is. It really is. So the books attacked Jack Perry, and
But they
then
were
they
watching the show with two random children sat between
yes,
the two of them, which was so weird.
yeah. And then Taz was like, "Who are those kids?"
Yeah.
Like just his delivery of that cracked me up. So yeah, and then they were caught in Luchasaurus's double choke slam, but they low blowed him. The BT trigger, the mic to the ribs of Jack Perry, and
Call back.
yeah, and then we had the Bucks versus Jurassic Express at Wrestle Dream, booked, and they finished off their assault with the TK driver to Jack Perry. So yeah, I'm really into that. The Bucks versus the newly reunited Jurassic Express will be really great, and if anyone can get a good match out of them to start with, it's the Bucks.
Oh,
And that's not to
100%.
say that they can't have a good match, but it's like, you know, it has been a while since they've tagged together. So I think pairing them with someone like the Bucks, who are just great in ring, they are great at putting a match together, will just, I think it'll make it very succinct and maybe, again, another sleeper match that'll just absolutely bang. I hope Jack Perry
100%.
gets the pin. I really hope he gets the not the pin. He gets the win.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Guy to get the win. I really hope Jack Perry gets pinned. I just hope he just gets absolutely.
I hope he gets twink murdered. No, no, I don't. I agree. It would be nice for him to pick up the win. Yeah, and the thing with this as well, the story's built in. It's simple. It writes itself. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. And as well with like, I mean, it's like a no-brainer, but the elite and all like the callback and all that. There's so many layers to it, and I'm excited to peel back the layers of Jack Perry's new character and how he's going to
Yeah,
balance like the aggression that he's got with going back into his old role. Is he going to resent that? Is hopefully there's going to be like nuance there and character
yeah.
development and
I think we've
what's
seen
going
bits
to
like a
happen.
microdose of that in this match.
Yeah, and what's going to happen when Christian comes back
Oh
and
yeah,
just lots of good stuff going on there. Lots of good stuff. And I really like how they haven't fucked about with addressing the elite stuff. Like even the way that they did it with Kenny, and then now with the Bucks. It's nice that they're not just like sweeping it under the rug because it would be convenient to do that.
yeah.
But then it also doesn't feel forced. Like, oh, we have to fight these guys. Oh, we have to face off with these guys because it's our immediate history. You know what I mean? Like sometimes,
Yeah,
like what with Jamie Hayter when she came back, and it was like I can't remember who she went against now, but they put her immediately with who it made sense to attack rather than where her momentum was at that point in time, which brought her down the card. But with this, it feels I don't know, sometimes it just lines up perfectly and the person that you want vengeance against, it's it just matches like where your stock's at and you can naturally move up.
Yeah, it's your perfect opponent for that moment in time, and that's how this is played out.
Yeah, so then we had the Death Riders, the bastard is back and he's looking for a snack. I don't know what happened. Like, Pac, a lot has happened, right? Like, obviously, he got that haircut, which I've told you guys I'm not a fan of, but I kind of liked it, right? Like, in his Death Rider attire, I was like, do you know what? I get it. It's like rugged, chic, sketchy man that has like a blue collar job. Like, he works in like the supermarket. He's got like he's got like a bit of a nefarious vibe, but I'm kind of into it. Like, don't look at his search history. Don't look at like his Reddit history. I feel like he's on some like I didn't mean anything weird by that. I meant more like edgelord
Mm.
vibes was more what I was going at that. But anyways,
Okay.
enough of my Pac fan canon. But then, yeah, so he got the haircut, he got absolutely fucking ripped. And then apparently he took like a promo class or something because this was just making me myself because it felt like he'd come straight from like a promo acting class to like, and I'm back and I'm looking for a snack. And he had all these little isms, and I was like, why are you popping off?
My favorite part was when he called Orange Cassidy tangerine balls.
That was how we opened it. We opened it strong. Oi, oi. Like he's like a fucking anime villain. Oi, oi. Like, what is going on? Bizarre.
As well as a lot of discourse about how dry he is now. As in, like, he used to be really wet when he went down to the ring, and now he's dry.
What the fuck? But also, I thought you meant like dry personality wise.
Yeah, I know, I know, I know. So
Oh
that's why I
my,
had to clarify.
hilarious. That is so.
People are
Why is
quite
he
offended by
dry?
this on the internet.
Why is he dry?
Mm,
That's so funny.
yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I know we haven't got to his match yet, but I loved his gear. Man is ripped. I mean, absolutely ripped to pieces.
capital R.
He's an
Full
absolute
stop at
rig.
the end. TM emoji. Fire emoji. 100 emoji. Like,
Oh.
oh my God. Okay, so now we're gonna get onto a really good match. Not that the matches prior have not been good, but this this just this was also like with Moxie Ishii, something that I really needed. Kyle on Kyle action, which was just hilarious. Like it was
Kyle and Kyle.
so funny, but also so fucking violent at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah, I mean it has all the makings of being goofy. I know they've wrestled before and it was an excellent match, but I felt like it was better than last time and but also they leaned into the goofy stuff at the same time without it being it wasn't like a goofy match, but the humor was there. But yeah, it was just
It was so good.
bloody excellent.
It was so good. Uh, and once again, flowers to Kyle Fletcher for being absolutely goated and being an active champion who wrestles
Yeah.
every week and puts on great shows every week. He doesn't dial it in.
Blesses
He
our
never
eyes.
fucking dials it in. And he's just the Chad. I think he's the hottest champion at the moment. I think even hotter than Hanger. Like, just the run. The run this man is on is just killer.
I think in terms of
Fucking
like
star.
just by sheer number of um exceptional title defenses, yeah, I would agree that probably hotter than Hangman. What I loved about this was like the clash of the two different ways they approached the match. So like O'Reilly was very much going for like a technical approach and trying to dissect him in terms of like limb targeting things, and Fletcher was just going properly aggressive. Um, but at the same time, I had to like adapt to Kyle sort of. Sorry, I can't be saying Kyle, kind of O'Reilly trying to injure him. And I thought that Fletcher's selling was just really exceptional, to be honest. Um, was it the knee? Or I think he was
The
selling.
knee off the apron when he went. He went, I just hate Kyle's. He jumped off
Yeah.
the apron, clobbered him. It was awful. And then he just got up and he went, I just hate Kyle. I just hate Kyle's. It was so funny. Yeah, that was solid. I also feel like, yes, there was conflicting styles, but also they both bond on the fact that they are masters at dealing brutal strikes.
Oh,
So,
true,
like, yeah,
so
you had the
true, yeah.
technical submissions and you had the these spectacle drivers and brainbusters, but they're both just, forearm striking the shit out of each other,
Yeah.
which was awesome. I mean, that crazy Michinoku driver on Kyle O'Reilly, where he just practically, again, the selling. I know you said Fletcher, but also selling of O'Reilly was
Oh
just
yeah, 100%.
fantastic. And then I'm the best Kyle. Like he was that. That was the bit that had me proper crying was when Kyle Fletcher was saying it, and he was like, "I'm the best Kyle.
Mhm.
I'm the best cat." And Mans was like proper tweaking, and it was just the hilarity of it, like the surrealist nature of it, the fact that they're putting on a 5-star banger, but like it's like they're broken, like they're in a simulation, and like brains can't compute that they're going against each other is daft.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. But it's just multifaceted talent. How how can you simultaneously like make people laugh while at the same time putting on a fucking, like you said, 5-star banger? It's insane.
And that awful dragon screw that Kyle Fletcher had done to him, where he hit the side of his head on the chair, was fucking awful.
Hmm.
That was awful. I hope Mans is okay because
Yeah.
that was giving concussed. Uh, then we had then Kyle O'Reilly, to be fair, had his own awful head moment where he was launched on the turnbuckle and he was holding on for like the arm lock to sell that he had this submission in, but because he was holding on for so long, like the whiplash of when he hit his head back was also pretty fucking gnarly.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then we had a "This is Kyle" chant. I'm so simple to pop. I'm so simple. Like, this is my humor. And then the brainbuster for the win. And then we had like a little conglomeration brawling the Callis family, Kyle Fletcher retreating moment. So a great time. A great time was had.
Yeah, I mean, ending with the Cal's family attacking feels a bit old, but it didn't take away from the match or anything. It still felt like a hot angle, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we had Renee, and she was like, Kyle Fletcher, are you scared of Matt Briscoe? And he's going to be going against him at Wrestle Dream. So I think that's a really exciting match. And I don't know, because I'm torn, because part of me just wants to see Kyle Fletcher be a TNT champion forever, but then part of me would just love to see Mark get some flowers because he's kind of left his losing streak a bit now, and it would just be nice to see him get a title. So it's
Yeah.
just a bit difficult, but yeah, they're great foils for each other. And again, the Wrestle Dream card is stacked. It's absolutely stackety stacked.
Yeah, it's quickly built up, hasn't it? To be stackety stacked, as you say. Apparently, I think Renee said, I believe she said Fletcher and Briscoe are 2-2, which again is another one of these little facts that I just love. That's really interesting. So yeah, it would be lovely for Briscoe to win. But I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I see it.
yeah. Then we had Monet's Open challenge title match for the TBS title. She went against Lacey Lane, which the intro for this was so weird because it was very well done, but it was also very jarring. It was like 30 seconds of this really highly produced video that just felt really weirdly artificial. And then we just had the entrance, and I was like, I appreciate that you're trying to introduce people to her who may not be familiar with her. her work, but it was just like a bit. It was just awkward. I felt like.
I think it was because of the way it ended. She went, so I'm gonna take that championship away from you tonight, or something like that, and then it just abruptly cut off, and suddenly it was the entrance. I just felt like it was a little bit jarring. It could have been. We needed like a smooth transition, like on PowerPoint, like a dissolve or something, but we didn't get that. It was,
A wife,
yeah,
the blinds.
yeah, it was just a straight cut.
And I liked how Danielson pointing out, it's like call back the pandemic again, bread and butter. Where we're at Daly's place, and that's what it was like. It was constantly an influx of talent, indie talent, people coming in, people coming out. Not, but this is different though. This is like a different thing to like jobbers and squash matches though, because like those existed, but this was also a main part. But I'm not mad that like it's gone away. I do think it has its place, and I do think this was a lovely match, and both of them did very, very well. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lacey Lane got,
Signed.
signed. That's the word. She got signed. I just didn't want to say signed because I'm like, what if she already signed? Like,
No, I don't believe she is.
I don't believe she's either, but it's a good showcase of like her talent, and it was also, I thought, the word I'd use to describe this match was it was pretty dense. To be fair, like it got a lot of time, and they managed to put in quite a lot, and obviously Mercedes was victorious. But I also just like the idea of this being like her dream match and her wanting to do this and then getting the opportunity to do this. I just feel like that, and it felt believable. Like sometimes it's like some fucker coming in and it's like, oh, this is the dream match, and I didn't really buy it, but I felt like, oh, this was like something she really wanted. So
As in,
not just a title, but to wrestle Mercedes.
yeah,
It felt believable. It felt legit.
Oh, 100%. And she put up a good fight. I feel like she had a high pace, and the story of the match, I think that they were trying to tell was like Mercedes couldn't really keep up, and yeah, she got in a couple of big moves, and I think she put up I think Lacey Lane put up a good call as to why she should be signed.
Yeah. So we had the Beast Mortos with the resident translator. Although, why do we need him to translate Beast Mortos? Because he just growls. Sammy Guevara.
Interesting.
Because the Beast Mortos is going to have a match against Eddie Kingston on Collision, which, like, Eddie Kingston also had, like, some talking points. But it was just a bit weird because, like, obviously they're doing the whole Team New York thing. New York. I don't know why I did that. And Hook's there. And it's like, he's just gone from being adopted by Samoa Joe to now being adopted by Eddie Kingston. I'm like, I thought this was going to be like a step up. I thought you were going to do something, like actually grow up. Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm watching a little boy, and it's like, you need to grow up, bro.
Yeah, I
You
know,
need to
right?
get out there with the other big boys and start wrestling for the fucking titles. I was like, what's point? Like, he's just gone from one guy to other. Like,
Yeah,
what?
and it's like he wants to. I get that he's young, and I get that he's a handsome devil and whatever, but he wants to be this badass. So like, why do you need a leader? Why are you looking for for someone else, like to be your father figure? I don't know.
Yeah, George fucking Michael, father figure, bro. That's what it's giving. Like, I can be your father figure. Man, I've got so many edit ideas. Like, I want to make an edit on my TikTok of what's that one? It's like match my
Mojo
freak, but
final
there's a
figure.
song. No, there's a song first. That's
Anybody
like
gonna
match
match my freak?
I'm gonna match my freak, and it's gonna be an edit of Darby Allin and Moxley doing freaky stuff, and then it's gonna be I
Yes.
can be your father figure.
It's just
Eddie
Hook with
Kingston.
all his father
Okay,
figures.
yeah, all his daddies. But fuck, I had a point. Right, my point was, also I said my TikTok. It's our TikTok. I didn't mean that any type of way.
I know it's
It
all
just
good.
sounded
I
really
haven't
conceited.
posted on that TikTok for so long
My
anyway.
TikTok. But
I've got an idea. I'm gonna make a TikTok after this episode though. I'm just manifesting it. What you were saying about Pac, that deserves to
he's dry.
be
Yeah, that would
clipped.
be pretty funny. That would be pretty funny. But my point, I actually do want to make a good point that's not just talking shit, and that is Hook should be. This is what Hook's character should be, and this is why I should be in the writing room, seeing as I'm super egotist tonight. Is he should have no alliance to anyone. He should be true neutral, D&D all the way. Like he should go out one week and attack someone, and then the next week do something contradictory and do something positive. Like his whole thing is he's like a lone wolf. I
Yeah.
know MJF did that and it was very corny, but like he doesn't take no shit. He does what he wants when he wants. And like sometimes it's kind of like a mercenary. Like people come to him and they'll be like, "We need your help, Hook," and he's like, "I might consider it." Like kind of sort of like what Pac's character was before he joined the Death Riders. He was very on his own wavelength, and that's what Hook should do because that character isn't too pushy, isn't so built up that it's like, oh my god, he has to win everything and he'd be pushed too hard. But it would just be like the perfect middling ground and it would make him cool.
Hmm. Yeah, like a loner, and he only fights for himself. He does what he fancies, or like he goes after maybe a championship or whatever, and it's not. Yeah, it would be interesting dynamic. It's not direct heel or face. I like the concept of him doing something completely contradictory one week to the next, and fans don't know whether to cheer or boo him. I think that will be more fitting towards the way he presents himself.
Yeah, like just nonchalant, like just nonchalant. But like Darby Allin's very much like chaotic and he's kind of but he's got like that baby face streak and he always fights for the good and he
Yeah.
always fights for the good of AEW, so it's like a bit different. So I don't really feel like anyone's really covering that base, and because he's so nonchalant it wouldn't be self-righteous because I think that's the issue with those types of characters is like Jack Perry when he's the scapegoat is they start to those types of characters feel sorry for themselves so they naturally lean heel, but with him he's not outwardly that emotional, so
True. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it would work psychologically, it would work.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that's a really good idea. Get Estelle in the writing room, Tony Khan.
Then we had the double Jeopardy eliminator match, which what the fuck? Like, I kind of got the concept by the end of it. I don't know if I missed something. I get that this is like an eliminator match, which is already pretty lame because it's like you're seeing him wrestle against the champion to get a title shot. It's like, well, if they, yeah, we've been over our thoughts that before. Why is it double Jeopardy? You know what it's like? It's like when you go around someone's house and they bring out a pack of cards or a board game and they're explaining the rules, and I'm just like, you're just saying words at me. What the fuck is Jeopardy? That's a board game. Double Jeopardy. Like what? What
Um,
does that mean?
I'm not sure if I'm right because I don't feel like they addressed it, and I'm glad that you said this because I thought the same as you that I missed it. But was it? Did it mean that if Takeshita and Okada lost, that someone would get a unified championship opportunity? Was that what it meant by double jeopardy? Like both of them, there's stakes for either one of them to win because there's going to be a title on the line depending on who loses.
That does make sense. And I did think that, but then I was like, is it like two people are allowed in the ring at the same time for a longer period? But yeah, that
Yeah.
probably is what it is. But it's like, can we not make that more concise? Can we not be like, this is a double? I can't. I've been a word man. I can't think. But this is a double title opportunity. I don't know. But
Double
my point
eliminator
being,
match or
why bring Jeopardy into it? That's what's thrown. Double title eliminator match. Don't be throwing all these weird adjectives
don't
or
be
verbs
introducing new
or nouns.
lingo.
Don't just don't. No, because I can't deal with it. Like my brain breaks when I see stuff like this. So, I mean, I barely have grips of what's going on anyway. Like even simple stuff. Like I'm trying to think of a simple match that because there definitely has been one that you explained to me, and I can't remember what it was. It was something like a street fight or a something else fight, and you explained the difference to me, which I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They can sometimes be a bit the same, those types of matches, and it's just like, oh well, actually,
I have
this
been a wrestling fan
one.
my whole life.
It gets
Yeah.
it's confusing out here.
It's confusing to me, thank you. Then we had Okada and Takeshita versus Brodito, and the great part about this was the continuous build-up of the tension between Okada versus Takeshita, which I'm really surprised at, and pleasantly surprised that they are slowly building this rather than
Yes.
pulling the trigger, because they kind of go into like this pulling the trigger mentality for a while, which I don't know where it came from, but suddenly it was like everything was just getting the trigger pulled on it really fast. But I'm glad that they're taking the slow burn approach for this because it deserves and needs it.
Yeah, 100%. I thought that what I wrote down was like they're not overdoing it, which is
I
great,
love
and I
it.
think that's basically the same as what you're getting at as well. Like, just they can
Zero to 100. There's been a lot of 0 to 100 and a lot of, do you know what I mean? Like trigger pulling, like
defo.
fast moving things.
Yeah, defo. And with this, it's more like they're teasing it, but it's not overshadowing the entire match. You can still enjoy the match for
Yes.
what it is.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and I loved the way that Bryan Danielson and Don Callis were like arguing over it on commentary. Um, Again, at the same time as not like distracting from the action. It's quite, I wouldn't say it's subtle, sorry, storytelling, because it's quite overt, it's quite obvious what they're doing, but it it's like they are begrudgingly working towards a common goal.
They're not
And
having a padding.
yeah, and they're not like shouting at each other. It's not, I don't believe it's really escalated properly to like physical direct blows yet. It's
It's just
just,
like homoerotic eye contact.
yeah, the tension, the sexual tension, yeah.
It always just goes to MXM, like it always just goes to Yowie in the world of Estelle and Lucy.
Nah, that's the world of AEW.
That's so true. That is so true. Like you just go into Tony Khan's office and he's just got two action figures and they're like kissing and he's like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" They're fighting. Yeah.
Oh, I can just picture that in my head.
Yeah, me too. Me
Someone needs to
too.
animate that.
He's on like a bender and he's like there and he's like he's like, oh, they're in the ring. This is the spot. Yeah, do like a South Park style edit. Yeah, so we had like the cut off, which again, it's overt, but it's not. Oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm so hot-headed, and maybe that's because they wouldn't act like that. Like their
Yeah,
culture,
exactly. It's not in their
they wouldn't
character or yeah, exactly.
act like that. But then the way they'll act is the ending of when Takeshita had the pin stolen from basically by Okada, which could have jeopardized the match. I thought it might have done. But obviously, they were always going to win because,
Because
storyline reasons.
reasons. Hmm.
But it was like really selfish of him to do that Rainmaker, but that's how they do it. Like, they one up each other subtly and physically, and that's also like it's like chess. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
just
100%.
it's chess. It's not checkers. And I really liked how Brodito was a great contrast for them because they're so in sync and so
Forgiving
cooperative,
of each other. I
giving
mean,
and receiving.
I said, I'm sorry, I said forgiving. Like I said, um, yeah,
Arguing.
but giving and receiving,
Yeah, giving
that's
and
great
receive. Like
too.
in the match, it's give and take, right? And with Okada and Takeshita, it's trying to step into the spotlight. So
Yeah.
also Takeshita's German to Brody King was sick.
Hmm.
Loved that. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. So sorry, I was gonna say what happened at the end, but then I just like can't exactly remember what happened. But basically, oh yeah, so Bandito was gonna go for the is it the 21 plex he calls it, and he was selling his shoulder. It was taped up, and he was selling this injury, and they were targeting it, and it was really effective selling, and he couldn't hit his finisher because of it, and that's what ended up costing him the match. And I just loved that. I thought it just a little simple little piece of psychology that made it seem like a really evenly matched contest and quite a, I wouldn't say like sudden ending, but quite fast and decisive. Um, and just just skipping ahead a little bit, I'm sorry, but I just really loved the segment, the interview segment that Brodido had where Bandito was like, I'm not here to make excuses, that was my fault
He
that we
was
lost that
so
match.
cute in
And
that. I was like, how did I ever hate you?
I
Like,
know,
you're you're like goated, man. Like
I
you
know.
are. I don't want to say top 10, but like he really is up there for me. Like he's
Yeah,
got it all.
this really won my heart because then Brody
Yeah,
King was like, "No, you're the best wrestler in the world, and we're gonna
yeah,
defend these championships. It doesn't matter, don't worry." I was like, "This is the most adorable thing I've ever seen. Oh my God." Um,
literally. Oh.
absolutely won me. Oh, hey, kitty. Pablo's like, "I fucking agree. I love Brodido."
He just appeared out of nowhere. Uh, yeah, so and also because they won the match that was then Okada and Takeshi did that is because they won the Jeopardy double eliminator, whatever the hell. They are going to go against them at Wrestle Dream, and I think there is a good case to be made about them potentially winning. I think I do like Brodito as tag champions, but I don't think it would harm them to lose. I think they could just go into like the division and do stuff and
Hmm.
build themselves back up to get the titles back. Like I don't think it would be that big of a deal, but I think for the story and where they're taking it with Takeshita and Okada, I think those two being tag champions and Don Callis being really happy and being like, oh my God, like, you know, we've got the gold and my boys. And now it's like they've got to repress even more like their
Yes,
hatred for each other.
100%.
And I just think that'd be really fun to see.
100%, 100%. That dynamic would be um just so entertaining. I completely agree. I think I think they should win, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. Then we had just the build up for the trios, the mixed tag trios match that's going to happen on Collision. So Jet Speed with Willow against FTR and Megan Bin, and both the respective teams had cute little promo bits. So that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
yeah, like we said, the Brodito segment, and then we had the main event of the night, which was Orange Cassidy versus Pac, dry and wearing clothes.
Yes, and to be clear, we're not calling the match dry. We're just stating an objective fact. Pac is not wet. He doesn't have liquid on him.
Sorry, my cat's like behind the laptop and he's like nuzzling up against. It's like Godzilla man back there. I
Ask
don't
him
know.
what he
Like,
thought of the match.
what did
Who's
you
his
think?
favorite
Oh,
wrestler?
I don't know, but right anyway, that is very distracting. That is very distracting. So I mean, these two are just great foils for each other. Orange Cassidy works the best when he's against the polar opposite of him. It brings out the best in him. That Death Falcon arrow on Cassidy outside the ring was just awful. Like just,
They didn't need to go this hard.
and then the DDT to Pac, where Cassidy spiked him on the floor as well. Pretty gnarly. The hands in the pocket. Uh, going through the
That was
table.
insane as well. Like, what the hell?
There's just and it's just like the main event TV match. So it was only like probably with ad break like 13-minute runtime, 15-minute with like the ads on top of it. Like it was they put in a lot. They put the whole night was a lot. Like
Yeah, it was.
even the filler, like the open title open I can't think of wrestling words today, but the Lacey Lane and Monet match, right? Even that was very dense.
Mm. Hmm.
And even like the Jobbers segment with Jurassic Express was like, oh, well, it's a Jurassic Express return. On top of that, like we're building to the books and
Yeah.
there's going to be a beatdown. So there was just a lot of killer and very little filler. And also another awful spot, Pac doing the tombstone pile driver onto Cassidy on like the in the stalls, and then he kicked him down the stairs, and then as is AEW's bread and butter, which is the common theme of the night, we had Darby appearing out of nowhere, which is just always makes me piss myself, and he he cuffed him. He cuffed
By
him.
his
It's cuffing
ankles.
season, and yeah, he chained him up, but then he broke out of it, which he wasn't explained how he broke out of it, but I guess he's just so hench that he just fucking ripped the chain off or some shit.
I
And then we
do
had this really
wonder if that was purposeful or not. Or if Pac was like, oh, well, I've escaped now. I better own it. I better get inside the ring. And then that's why the finish after that was so quick.
But I don't think I think it was planned though because the finish was so tight. Like he broke the 10 count and then as soon as he was in, Cassidy rolled him up. So I do think that was probably the plot
Yeah.
point.
Hmm.
Uh which yeah was just a lot of drama in a short space of time. And then we had like the bewildered bastard and I was not expecting Cassidy to win this at all, like going into it and then
Mm.
seeing how they've been building Pack and seeing how the match started. I did not think that this was where we were going. And then the ending, the post match was just wild. So Darby comes out with a backpack. He sprays Pack in the eyes. He's then got a taser on
Taz is
wheelie.
coughing because it was right in front of the commentary desk and he's nearly fucking killed off Taz.
And then just when you think it just can't get any worse, he sets up a Molotov cocktail and he's just holding it like a crazed man.
I thought he
And
just, but even before that, I thought he was going to tase someone in the crowd. I
yeah,
was like,
because like
Darby,
one of the
this is the
crowd
health and
members
safety
was
hazard, dude.
outside of like he was over the barricade, like near the
Yeah.
ring. I was like, he's just surely it's not a real taser though. Not to suspend belief, but surely it's just like a prop.
I don't know. I probably, but it looked quite real.
Yeah, but it was like it looked a bit like it had like blue sparks coming off of it. Like, is that what it just looked like a bit Hollywood for like a taser, but I don't know. I've not been tased. I've not had a
To be
taser.
fair, maybe I am just comparing it to ones that I've seen in movies that are
Yeah, I
probably
thought if
that
a real
type.
taser don't have blue lightning sparks coming off of it like an anime. Like what? But maybe it does. Who knows? So yeah, then he's got his Molotov cocktail, and then security speared him, and
Yeah, fucking took him the fuck down.
yeah, so it was it was a great end to a great show.
I
And I do feel like, sorry, I do feel like right now though, it's kind of wild because the fact that this was the main event and that it closed the show and that this thread of story, which is Darby versus Mox in the I Quit match, is really being pushed, is, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing because Joe and Hangman works for where Hangman is in his title reign right now, but it is kind of a bit jarring when you deep it because you're like, oh, I'm more excited for this, and this is the hottest angle right now, and it's not even for a title
mm,
or anything, so it's not, you know, the main event of the show, so it's kind of crazy, but yeah.
that is true, and I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, you got a good point. But I think um yeah, I don't know. I think it'll depend how they structure Wrestle Dream, and just so
Why would
how
you
can I
what?
keep my train of thought when there's a little shadow kitty,
He just like blends into the background.
the most precious angel in the world. Um, yeah, it'll depend where the I Quit match is on the card and like whether just how different it's gonna obviously be a completely different match to the world title, but you assume that the world title is gonna be the main event. Well, at the same time, it might not be, so we'll see how that goes. But overall, I thought this was just it was fucking crazy, and I loved how commentary played it off. Like we dread to think what these two are gonna do to each other, at Wrestle Dream, and yeah, that's true. I thought is Darby Allin gonna fucking bomb John Moxley? I just don't know at this point.
Um, yes. So rating wise, so before I was thinking like 9.5, but now I'm like, is 9.5 too high? Should it be a 9? Like I don't know, but it was a really, really fun fun show for me. I had
Mm.
just a great time.
I think for what we had,
Oh.
9.5.
Catzilla got me. Catzilla! No, he's like, oh my God, Catzilla, leave me alone.
For the benefit of those listening and not watching, the camera it was like an earthquake was going on Estelle's side just then. But I think for what we had, it was a 9.5. But unfortunately, like the cynical side of me is thinking what we didn't have, like a women's
What
tag,
more would you want?
a women's tag match. I'm just like, I feel like it was maybe missing that. But then I'm just like, I don't know if I would pull it down because of that. But then I'm like, well, if it was going to be perfect, it would have
Yeah,
more.
but if it was perfect, it'd be a 10,
True,
which we've
true.
never given out. Not to a Dynamite.
It's
But
true.
that day will happen. So I think a 9.5
Yeah, let's
is.
go with it. Let's go with it. A 9.5, a strong
Woo!
showing for Title Tuesday. So let us know in the comments if you agree with that and what you think of our takes. If you haven't already, please do subscribe or follow and leave a like and a star rating. Get us up in the algorithm God's good books. That would really help. And we really appreciate all the support and everyone listening every week. And we do have exciting plans for the future and some bit of new content coming and exciting things. So, and as always, let us know like what you want to see if you've got any ideas and things like that. But yeah, overall, feeling good about WrestleDream, feeling excited for the weeks to come. So I guess we'll be reviewing a nice 3-hour special next week. Which, yeah, we'll see how that goes with the Collision and Dynamite double feature. Hopefully, it'll be as good as this week.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, you rock and good night, bad.
I wish you died in the womb!